We're in the midst of a revolution. So many people, the vast majority of people are transacting online and moving to transacting online, but there is still a significant number of people who need access to cash for really good reasons. And so the bank charging people more in order to access money, their own money, I'm sure is going to hurt a lot of people right now in the middle of rising costs of living and really challenging economic times.
And how do you feel some of the language used around this announcement to the Commonwealth saying that it's part of a commitment to provide the best available banking experience?
Well, I think that a customer who has to pay money to access their own money may not find it great customer service to have to make that payment. In taking the big picture of this issue, it is very expensive. There are broad economic issues at play here, but we're all being pushed online. We're all being pushed to transact online, and the businesses are making a lot more money. They're saving a lot more money by pushing their customers online. And therefore, we really want to see, first of all, investment in protecting those systems and making them as safe as possible for their customers. But also, people have really good reasons for needing access to cash. People we speak to might be family violence victims, survivors, people who have been scammed and have lost confidence transacting online, people who find it really difficult to access digital online services. And so it feels like a bit of a penalty if you're falling into one of those groups of people.
What about the fact that there are ways to avoid paying the fee, including a debit card at a CommBank ATM and paying bills through the CommBank app or net bank?
Look, again, that will work for the majority of people, but we're still going to have a lot of people for whom that's going to be challenging, and for whom that might lead to over-reliance on other family members, which could lead to economic abuse. We see all sorts of circumstances arising on our frontline services that are really challenging, and where access to cash is a safety net for many people. So again, those situations for the majority might be right, and might be right for more and more people as we move on and move along. But we need to design these systems taking into account the whole community, and just whacking them with a fee doesn't seem like the right approach.
And you mentioned before that a lot of us are being pushed to use online services instead. What about these fees that are popping up on card purchases now more and more as we go more and more cashless? Something might be $90 that you go to pay for, but then the bill comes in and it's just like $1.70, like $91.76 on your card, but it's happening over and over and over.
Absolutely. So transacting online, we've got surcharges, so you're paying a whack there. Accessing cash and using cash, you're paying money to access that money. It seems like consumers, unfortunately, are having to foot the bill for all financial services, no matter which tender or which way of paying that you turn to. So I think we need to have a really holistic look at what's going on here. Sure, there are costs of doing business, and in some cases those are passed on to customers in certain ways. But again, we're really slugging some of the most vulnerable in our community who need access to cash in particular in trying times.
And what do you make of this when you take into account the annual profit of a bank like the Commonwealth?
Well, again, I think a lot of the people who we speak to on the National Debt Helpline who are struggling to make ends meet, struggling to put food on the table, additional costs just are really biting hard at this particular time. And so hearing the news that these charges are coming online from some of our very wealthy companies might be a bit difficult to bear.